Hi everyone, what's up? This is Nick coming at you with a new video to help you improve on your trading performance. I really wanted to put this video out a couple of days ago. I've really enjoyed making some of these videos, but unfortunately, as you might be able to take from my voice, I've been a little bit sick, very congested. I'm hoping that I'm kind of coming through the end of that now, so I decided I'm going to make this video. Hopefully, my voice isn't too annoying. And this video is all about the gap between performance and potential. And this is a concept that I talk about quite a bit in the courses that I have on my website. So if you are interested in this and really want to make improvement, definitely check those out. But today I'm just going to go over essentially what it is and why it's important to be aware of it. So to start out with, we're going to look at why strategy is important. And some of this is pretty obvious, but we'll go through it anyway. Now you need to have an edge. You can't just say, I think this stock is going to end green today, because even if you're right 55, 60% of the time, you're probably not going to be able to make money from that, because maybe you buy at the open price and it drops 20% on you before coming back to finishing green, and you got out when it was down 15%, and that trade that would have been green ended up being a losing trade. Okay, you need to have an actual strategy to pull money out of the market. The bigger the edge, the better. And this is actually a lot more important than people think. There's kind of like an idea that, oh, if I just had a strategy that could make 5 or 6R a month, I could do that. I could risk $1,000 and I'd make 5K a month, easy. Not the case. If you have a small edge like that, you need to trade it perfectly for the whole month to make a small amount of profit. That means if you've got an edge that only makes 5R a month, 2 mistakes where you miss 2 trades that made 2.5R, your profit has gone. 2 mistakes where you take bad trades which cost you 2R, you're negative. Okay? You need a bigger edge. You need to have a 40, 50, 60R a month edge so that you can say, yeah, I made 20 mistakes this month that cost me 30R and I still came out profitable, and now I have room for improvement. When you have a bigger edge, you're also more likely to have smaller drawdowns. It's not always the case. If you have a really low risk, high rewards, but a low win percentage, then you will go on long losing periods. But for the most part and most strategies, if it has a large edge, then the drawdowns are smaller. My own personal strategy, I think its largest drawdown has been about 7.2R, which is tiny compared to the 160R or so of profit. And if you've been watching my series on how I became funded, I think the next episode actually goes into that in a little bit more detail, if I haven't done already. Big edge, small drawdown. This allows for quicker scaling because you're going to have that, okay, I made 20R this month and that's the amount I need to improve my size. So you can increase size quicker than somebody who's only taking a 5 or 10R profit per month. And with that, you can start off with smaller size and make more. So big edge, it's important. Now, you do need trading rules, okay? But these rules need to be set for your strategy and not your performance. Do not fall into the trap of setting rules like, I'm not going to allow myself to be taken over by FOMO today. I'm not going to revenge trade today. I'm not going to take a trade, right? Those rules are very easily broken, and being honest, people use them as sort of like a fake way to think they've made improvement. They go, oh, I'm setting this new rule and it has to be, I can't take a trade due to FOMO. I know you're still going to do it, so that rule is completely redundant. I really like if-then statements, and what these look like would be, okay, if the stock I'm watching breaks pre-market highs, I will go long. If the uptrend I'm watching breaks, then I will wait for it to come down to a certain level, and then I'll look to scalp it back up, or whatever it may be, or short. They're the sort of rules you want. Without a strategy, you are guessing, you are gambling, and because of the way the market is, because there's spread, because there's slippage, because there's fees, if you put in random orders, the likelihood is going to be that you're going to lose money. In fact, it's almost guaranteed. Now, strategy is only one piece of the puzzle. Having a great strategy does not guarantee you make money. This is part of the reason why trading feels like it's so close all of the time. You go, my strategy made this amount this month. All I need to do is get a little bit better and I'll be there. Getting there is the hard part, right? Having trading rules do not mean that you will follow them. And this is what I was talking about with the performance thing. Just because you say, I'm not going to revenge trade, doesn't mean that you're not ever going to revenge trade. And this is why you don't base them on performance. Now, the gap between your actual execution and the potential of your strategy is where you need to focus on. Essentially, if you get to a point where you go, I have a strategy that makes 70 R a month, I'm only making 5 or I'm losing 10, figure out, okay, that big gap, how can you begin to plug it? What are the mistakes? Now, a big thing as well is that a high accuracy for most people can still equal poor results. And this is a little bit scary. When I actually did some research into how accurate you need to be with certain strategies, it's a lot higher than you think to pull money out. In my example, okay, this is January, these are my trades. My strategy gave me 47 triggers. 46.8% of those won for a return of 41.26 R. After fees, we'll say 40 R, just to make it easy. So the strategy has performed pretty well, 40 R a month. If you're able to, pull that out every single month, and 1 R was $1,000 of risk, you're making close to $500,000 a year. Amazing. When we look at my actual performance, however, I took 49 trades. Okay. Now, 2 of those, that means at least 2 of those trades were mistakes, but we can go into where there were more. My win percentage was at around about 40.82%, so a bit lower. I made 17 errors. And what I count as an error is when I take a trade that my strategy does not, or when I miss a trade. So that means that over the course of a month, I made an average of almost 1 mistake a day, around about 0.8 mistakes a day. Now, these did clump together. There was one particular day for me where I think I ended up taking 4 trades, and when I reviewed it, I realized I made a critical error on the first trade, which shouldn't have been. I missed a trade as a result, and that then put me out of sync and resulted in, I think, making 5 errors in one day. There was another day where I missed a trade and took a bad trade, kind of as a result of that. That was 2, and that's happened a couple of times. So they clumped together. But over the course of a month, 17 errors, and that has meant that my accuracy for the whole month was at around about 70%. Now that isn't actually that bad, okay? It's not horrible. It's slightly above my minimum target, which is around about 65% to make 15R, and that's actually reflected in the P&L. If you're wondering as well, by the way, why it's 70% when 17 errors out of 49 trades is not 70%, it's because sometimes I won't have taken a trade that was an error, and sometimes I've taken a trade, so it doesn't quite equal out to that. But as you can see, my P&L was actually not horrible. Around about 19R isn't too bad. Now, a bunch of this was on getting funded, as you can see in the journey that I've put up. And then it's kind of been split weirdly between my funded account and then my cash account. And then a bunch of that was on before I got funded. So it's all kind of a bit of a mess this past month in terms of seeing the actual results. But I know that my performance has given me this. I have given up 21, nearly 22R, 21R in mistakes this month, which is quite a significant amount. And I actually got a little bit fortunate because I think 7 R's worth, or I think 4 mistakes that I made, I actually missed losing trades, which was great. So I actually made 7R on that. But that means that on 13 errors, I gave up around about 30R in performance. And critically, 70% is actually not too bad. That means that if I took 2 trades a day on average, most people would probably around that number, maybe a little bit more, I've only made 3 mistakes a week. That isn't very many for most people, and that's where it's a little bit scary that I still haven't really got. I've only made 50% of the profit. Now, it's really important at this point to realize it takes time to get to a high accuracy. Most traders that I've spoken to, that I've started coaching, we've looked, their accuracy is well below 50%. There are tons of FOMO trades, there are tons of gambling trades, and some of that's because they haven't had a clear strategy. So it's like, well, this one was my strategy, but these three weren't, but at the same time, I didn't really see that at the time. Some of it was they had a strategy and were just ignoring it. If you are right now at 33% accuracy, and the way you can do that is just mark after every trade, was this a correct trade? 1, was it not? 0. Did you miss a trade? 0. Okay. Now, you can't suddenly go from a 30%, 40% accuracy to 90%. Okay, it seems easy. And that's, like I said, why trading feels like it's so close all the time. You hear quite often people say these kind of statements. Today, something happened and it made me clearly see that from now on, I'm only trading my setup. Or, that's it, I'm done taking these dumb losses. From now on, I'm only trading my setup. From now on, I'm only taking the A+ setups. I'm making new rules and I'm going to stick to them. This time is the time. Guess what? That never works. Not one person has said that, or that I've seen has said that to them become successful. It's worked for a day or two and then they slip back up. In the long term, this will not be successful. The reason for that is you need to resolve the underlying flaws that cause the mistakes. I'm not going to go too much into how you do that in this video. It's for a different video. I've got 2 courses on my website that goes through that. But you need to find a way to go, what is the underlying flaw that causes the majority of my mistakes, and how can I start resolving it? And even when you know what it is and know what you need to do, it takes time. The big thing that I talk to my clients about when I coach them is you need to do a lot of work away from trading, and then every day you need to repeat the steps to actually get better. It's not going to happen in one day. It's not going to happen in 1 week. It's going to happen over the course of months and maybe even years. Probably not years if you do it correctly, but you know. Now, consistency is so crucial in this. I'm not talking about being consistent in executing your strategy. I'm talking about being consistent in making improvements. Become aware of what your weaknesses are. Get better at seeing them in real time. Okay, make that a goal. Say, okay, I know I get FOMO. So today my goal is to notice when I start feeling FOMO and to write down the thoughts, write down what's happening. I'm going to do that every single day for the next week. And then at the end of the week, I can look through those notes and go, oh, you know what? This seems to happen immediately after, something particular has happened in the market. Becoming aware of that trigger that leads you to making the mistakes. Become aware of the exact thoughts so that you can say, every time I think, damn, I should have got on that, it often leads to FOMO thoughts. That's your thought trigger. Become really good at becoming aware of that. Implement a strategy to change your thoughts in the moment. This is again something that I talk about in depth in my courses and in my coaching. I do this. If you feel like you struggle with this and you go, I keep on making these mistakes, I can't really figure out why, hit me up on Twitter. My link's down below. Hit me up on Twitter and we can sort something out. We can do some short period coaching. We can figure it out because it's not easy and sometimes you need somebody else to kind of hear you and cut through the BS. Really focus on making small improvements every day. When you do this, it leads to big improvements in the long term, right? If you can improve your performance by just 1 or 2% every single day, you go, okay, what can I do today that will make me a little bit better? And maybe not even a little bit better today, a little bit better for the coming weeks. Okay, so you do that. I'm going to write down every time I begin to think FOMO type of thoughts. Okay, that's going to improve my performance in the future by a few percent every time you do it. So you become aware and then you can begin to resolve it. If you can do that and you improve your accuracy by just 10% month over month, okay? And this is a linear, forget about going, oh, well, 10% to 33%. I'm talking you go from 30% to 40%, 40% to 50%. If you can improve on your accuracy just a small amount, in 6 months, you'll be at 90% accuracy. And that means if you have a strategy that makes an average of 40R a month, the likelihood is you're going to be making 30R plus. Okay, that's how much that's comfortably enough to be a successful, professional, profitable trader. So just really quickly to recap, strategy is important. Of course it is. I'm not saying for one moment that I ignore all the strategy stuff. You need a strategy. You need something that is clear, trackable, something that you can at the end of the month go, okay, I know how my strategy performed. And you need to have rules for your strategy that are ideally if-then statements. And definitely, well, I say definitely, try not to make rules for performance. Try not to say today I'm not gonna give in to FOMO. It doesn't work. They're too easy to break. And then when you do break them, you feel like it was, a waste of time. Become aware of your gap. Okay? Become aware of how much your strategy could have made this month, how much you made, and then go and figure out what it is that prevented you from being closer. The reality is you're very rarely going to be able to be like, yeah, I took 30 trades this month. Every single one was exactly what my strategy was. And I made, the profit. It's unlikely to happen. Okay. But how could you get to 26, 27, 28 out of 30 where you've only made a handful of mistakes? How can you get to that? Where are the mistakes? Be aware that it takes time. It's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in a week. It might take you 3 months to get from 40, 50% accuracy to 80, 90% or 75, 80%. And to do this, you just need to focus on consistent, small improvements. They add up, and over time you will get there. It won't feel great. You'll feel very much like the tortoise, but the outcome of small improvements day on day, trying to figure out, okay, where was the mistake? What caused it this time? Building that map, being able to see the potential improvements and to act on them, doing that day after day is really where the success comes from. So sorry this video was maybe a little bit less exciting. I'm trying to just get something out there for you guys to help you and make some improvements, and hopefully I will feel a little bit better over the next few days and make some really cool content for you. Thanks for watching till the end of the video. Just adding a quick piece in here to let you know what extra services I have to help you become a better trader. On my site, guidedtradingmeditations.com, you can find my new course, The Trading Blueprint, which gives you a full guide on how to create an edge, test it, start trading it, and scale up. There are sections included on how to find weaknesses in your trading and then how to resolve them, as well as many other bits of information that I've gathered in my years of experience. The aim of the course is to make you a fully independent trader so you don't need to pay ever-growing monthly fees to be in a chat room. There's no specific edge needed. You can use this in any market with any trading style. If you're at a stage in your trading where you're struggling and would prefer a more in-depth look at your own personal weaknesses and ongoing support, you can also book one-on-one coaching with me on the site. There's a cool breakdown on the screen right now, so pause the video and read through it, and if it's something you're interested in, check it out. There's a ton of other content on the site that I'm really proud of and I've really enjoyed making, so if you're interested, please check it out. I'm sure there'll be something on there that can help your trading. You can reach me on Twitter. My handle is in the description down below. You can send me a DM if you'd like any more information. And make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with future videos.